Was ist gut? Today we're going to be talking about German hip-hop. It's only the last couple of years that some of the bigger German bands have managed to make their way into the US market, most notably GZUZ, who had a couple of world premieres with World Star Hip Hop, and there are also some reaction videos floating around on various streaming services with people watching his video and talking about how hardcore it is. And it is hardcore, but this is nothing new to German hip-hop. It's been around for almost 30 years, and there have been some pretty hard guys that have come before him. We're going to talk a little bit about all of that. Now, this is my first video without an editor, so please be kind to my mistakes. I'm sure I'll make a few, especially with pronunciation, because I am not a German speaker, nor am I fluent. I will not be doing a linear from the beginning up until the moment kind of overview. I'm going to jump around all over the place like House of Pain, and we'll be skipping some people that need to be talked about, and maybe that'll happen in another installment. So who the hell am I anyway? Back in 2006, I released the very first American compilation of German hip-hop and reggae music. I had been in Germany and was absolutely knocked on my ass by some of the amazing talent over there that nobody in the US was paying attention to. And I had the pleasure to work with some of the biggest names in German hip-hop, as well as some underground bands, and there might have even been one that wasn't even signed yet. I had some great folks in Germany that were helping me out, getting me hip to other stuff, and I was following some of my own links as well, checking out bands that were kind of similar to bands I already knew I liked over there. All Music Guide called it a smashing compilation that bundles together 17 German hip-hop and dancehall artists onto one fabulous CD, 4.5 stars out of 5. And of course it sold not very well at all. So if you enjoy this video, Big Up Berlin is still available in all the usual places, so you can justify my love and get yourself a copy. So this is not intended to be a history of German hip-hop, the history of German hip-hop. This is just my experience with German hip-hop as an outsider. I do know a lot about music. I've had a number of roles in the industry, but Deutsch rap fans, please do not send me angry letters because I mispronounced your favorite band's name or a song title, or I missed your favorite rap crew. I would like to do more of these videos and get to everybody, but I only have so much time. You'll also notice that I'm going to break up my speaking a little bit so that you can hear more of the music. If I let you hear too much of the music, certain streaming services, cough, cough, will flag me for copyright infringement and take down the video, even though this is clearly a review video or a reaction video if you like. At any rate, I hope to give you as much of the music and the original videos as I can. So let's get right to some music. The video you've been seeing is by a cat named censor. He is the hardest working man in German hip-hop, according to a number of people in the Deutsche rap game. And he had a protege named Echo Fresh, and they had quite a falling out. So censor made this video, which features real-life footage of Echo Fresh wearing a censor t-shirt and just kind of clowning around and being goofy. And it's interspersed with footage of a lookalike Echo Fresh who is hunted down in a snowy German forest, has a dog leash, dog collar slapped on him, is made to crawl around on the ground on all fours. Then he has to dig his own grave. He's put inside a coffin, which is nailed shut. The coffin is lowered into the ground. Mourners appear and start throwing his merchandise, including a burning Echo Fresh t-shirt, on top of the coffin, and he is then buried alive. So when people tell you that hardcore only started being a thing in German hip-hop in the last few years, no. It's been around for a long time. This right here is some Kill Bill shit, and spoiler alert, he does not punch his way out of the coffin at the end of the video.
Aber bitte sag mir eins, Hecko, was ist bloß mit dir los? Du bist nicht Mr. Henky, sag, wie kommst du bloß aus dem Klo?
So I also think this is a great track to start with because it shows one of the things that makes German hip-hop stand out from its American counterpart, and that is Angst, which is a word that we borrowed from the German language. There is a lot of darkness and brooding in some of German hip-hop, at least in the musical elements. Even when lyrically the song might be more up-tempo or in a more genial mood, you hear a lot of minor keys, you hear a lot more piano and synth arrangements, you hear symphonic elements, you even hear choral arrangements. It's a general tone that we might call Gothic from a musical standpoint in the US. To put it another way, German rap occasionally gets a little bit on the spooky side with its music. And again, that's strictly the music I'm talking about, not the lyrics. So as for Echo Fresh, he kept making music, and he is actually a guest vocalist on the song we're about to listen to now, along with GZUZ. This is a track by Bushido. He's one of the absolute biggest names in German hip-hop, and we will talk about him more fully another time. But you can hear, again, this choral arrangement, the female background singers in this video, and you can see some females in the background of this video too, although I don't think they are the people doing the background vocals, although who knows, anything's possible. The track is called Vendetta, and given the title, you can probably guess what most of the lyrics are about. Now, the person who got Bushido into hip-hop was a cat named Flair. This is actually my Flair t-shirt with the barbed wire and the blood and so forth. So you can guess for yourself that he's a little on the harder side himself. And his big breakout hit single was called NDW, which is a huge hit in Germany. And NDW stands for Neue Deutsche Welle, which was Germany's homegrown answer to the new wave music of the 80s. Some of the bigger artists included Nena, Joachim Witt, Peter Schilling, and from Austria, but singing in German and also English, was the fantastic Falco. So if you're listening to NDW by Flair and you're thinking that it sounds a little bit like Rock Me Amadeus, that's not by accident, and you are not wrong. Speaking of Falco, some people point to his single Der Kommissar as being one of the earliest examples of German language rapping, but that is a whole different conversation for another episode. NDW was released by an influential German hip-hop label called Aggro Berlin, and that's another interesting element of German hip-hop, is that it can be very aggro, very aggressive, very over the top, even bombastic at times.
Ich hab gewartet, im Blut hab ich gebadet. Ich fick euch arschgefickten Hurensöhne wie erwartet. Keiner stoppt mich, Top Body, Top Fit. Zersäge Hurensöhne mit dem Album, das dein Kopf hängt. Ich zeig euch hören, was Gewalt ist. Nackig erniedrigt geht die Rapper mit der Stimme, die den Schal bricht.
But hey, those choral arrangements again, you hear them, right? If you're thinking about the German industrial band Rammstein and you're wondering if they have counterparts in the world of German hip hop, the answer is most definitely yeah, for sure they do. A rapper like Massive sounds like he wants to kill someone with every verse that he sings. Here's the album cover for Blut gegen Blut 3 with someone in an electric chair, very muscular. Those muscles look ready to pop. And yeah, it sounds pretty aggro, as you can hear for yourself.
Ich schieß auf dein Team, wie du siehst, mit Massiv. Schau wie die Kalasch und rasier die Beats. All die Gaber, die sich schicken wegen Cannabis. Ich schieß auf dein Team, wie du siehst, mit Massiv.
I think he might have the record for most gunshot samples on one album. I don't know, I stopped counting at some point, but it's a lot. And now Massive was originally on a label called Horrorcore for obvious reasons, but he quickly moved up to the major labels. And someone else who wanted to sign him was reportedly Azad, who was one of the godfathers of German hip hop. Azad started rapping in the late 80s as part of a group before he went solo. And he was eventually approached by Universal Records to run his own sub-label with them. And it sort of effectively became the urban music arm of Universal Records.
Luft, ich wie Punkern im Wandschrank, Wassland, ist ein Aslan, hinterlasse Löcher, wenn ich spitte wie ein Joint voller Afghan, töte zum Takt am laufenden Band, die Picos haltet Abstand, ich bin außer Verstand, dreh ab, dreh ab, dreh ab, dreh ab, bis er den nicht dreh ab, dreh ab, dreh ab, dreh ab, liebe Seite den nicht dreh ab, dreh ab, dreh ab, dreh ab, bis er den nicht dreh ab.
Now, they have a censorship body in Germany. It's part of the government, and it's called the Federal Review Board for Media Harmful to Minors. If you thought the Parents Music Resource Center back in the 80s was bad in America, this is kind of it on steroids. It actually has the authority of the government to do certain things with music it deems harmful. And Azad's third album, Der Boss, was put on their restricted list. And if I understand correctly, once something goes on the list, it's there for 25 years. So you know Azad is not singing Kumbaya on this record, or probably any of his records. One of Azad's early collaborators when he was in a group is a guy named D Flame. They were in a band called Asiatic Warriors. And D Flame certainly deserves his own props, but the track that I'm playing for you right now is a collaboration between him and a guy named Tone. It's called Mehr Als Musik, and it shows a nice contrast between the two rappers, their delivery, their styles, their vocal tone. But it's also great because the song is about the history of hip hop, not just in Germany, but in the US as well. If you can find the lyrics, I recommend that you check them out. It will enhance your enjoyment of the song because you'll be able to understand a lot of the throwbacks and callbacks that they're making to the early days of hip hop. Tone is someone who's really impressed me. He wasn't super active in the hip hop scene. He only released a few albums. He had some success on the charts, but never a big breakout, although just being on the charts is certainly an accomplishment. As far as I can tell, the last album he released on his own was in 2013, so it's been a minute. But I was so impressed with one of his tracks called Rhyme Roboter, which I probably mispronounced horribly, that I did put it on my Big Up Berlin mix CD. And I'm going to play a bit of that for you now. It's probably already playing, in fact.
Bezahlen mit unendlichen Qualen und wollten den Gequengel ersparen. War ein Penner, die Palmen mit phänomenalen Verbalen. Hämmer noch Stahl, deine Keime sind nimmer normal. Machen die Knochengestelle, Donner Novelle. Erwarte die Schmocks, der professionelle Boxen die Welle. Nach der gesprochenen Schelle pochen die Trommelfälle und pressen den Wahnsinn aus dem Loch in der Fontanelle. Dieser Prätext bedeutet dein Ruin, weil er dich wegfetzt. Du bist schon weich in den Knien und völlig entsetzt, denn du bekommst.
And he's really worth checking out. He didn't do a lot, he didn't release a lot of material, but I think what he did release is pretty interesting. I also enjoy the electronic element that he puts in the music itself when he puts together a track. His album title, which I'm going to butcher, I'm sure, is called Zukunftsmusik. Let's hope that was at least close. And as you can see by looking at the screen, I'm trying every time I say a band's name or a song title to put it up on the screen in text so that you can see how it's spelled and then you can look it up for yourself. Now, speaking of Big Up Berlin again, you might have noticed that it was titled The Best of German Hip Hop and Reggae. And that was in part because there was a band I absolutely could not leave out. And they blend elements of dance hall, reggae, and hip hop, sometimes all three styles on one song. They're capable of doing something in any one of the three styles. They are one of the biggest groups, period, not just one of the biggest rap groups, but one of the biggest groups in German music. They are huge in the rest of Europe. I can't wait for them to come over to the US at some point and do some shows. I might just go to all of them. They're called Seed, and that's with 3 E's, S-E-E-D. The first time I saw their video for Dickes Bay, my jaw hit the ground. I was just in awe. They looked so cool that I almost wanted to hang up my black trench coat and put on these interesting outfits that you see them wearing in the video. But as Bushido and Shindy said,
schwarzer dress code, all black, everything.
So I stuck with this. But Seed, if you or your people are listening, please make some t-shirts in black. It would be very nice for those of us who stick to just one color.
Coolness-mäßig platzt die Stadt aus allen Nähten. Aber wo sind jetzt die Typen, die auch ernsthaft antreten, um ihr Potenzial ihres Styles heiß zu kneten? Zu viel Kraft in der Lunge für zu wenige Trompeten. Dickes B, oben an der Spree. Im Sommer tust du gut und im Winter tut's weh. Mama Berlin, Backstein und Benzin. Wir liegen da in Luft, wenn wir um die Häuser ziehen. Dickes B, oben an der Spree. Im Sommer tust du gut und im Winter tut's weh. Mama Berlin, Backstein und Benzin. Wir liegen da in Luft, wenn wir um die Häuser ziehen.
Lead singer Peter Fox has some solo material that's also very strong. I think some of the other guys in the band might have their own projects as well, but Seed as a collective, you cannot miss them. If you only listen to one thing I tell you in this video, go and check out Seed. Now, you might have noticed how the narration has sort of flowed from one topic to the next so far. I have to bring the whole thing to a screeching halt because there are already fans in Germany right now posting angry comments on the video, threatening to send me scheiß packets in the mail. Don't try to translate that because I don't think it's a real word. I just made it up. But they are righteously angry because I have gone on talking for this long without mentioning one of the most important and influential founding groups in German hip-hop, the Fantastischen Vier. You don't have to be a language expert to figure out that translates to the Fantastic Four. They are somebody that everybody who knows German hip-hop knows at least a little of their music. In 2020, earlier in 2020, they had a 30-year anniversary show. So if you live in Germany odds are good that even your dad knows at least one of their songs. If I had waited any longer to mention them, I would have felt criminal, but there we go. I have mentioned them. Please stop your angry comments.
Wunderschöner Tunnelblick, Unternehmer unter sich, oben alles ungewiss, wenn man es mal runterbricht. Die Upper Class wundert sich, weil sie nicht mit uns unten ist. High Society heißt heute Unterschicht. Kommen Sie rein, können Sie nicht rausgucken. Archäologenschweine wollen uns alle ausbuddeln. Nehmt euch eine Auszeit, mal über den Rand blicken. Statt Vogelstrauß da einen Kopf in den Sand stecken. Solange nicht alle baggern, kann das hier noch lange dauern. Und deshalb geht das raus und alle Mann und alle Frauen. Ja, worauf wartet ihr? Alle zusammen now. Wir wandern in den Underground. Komm, wir holen uns ein
After you mention the Fantastischen Vier, it's hard to sort of jump back into a conversation and bring up anybody else. So I'm going to circle right back to the beginning of this video where we mentioned GZUZ and his recent popularity in the US hip-hop scene. And it's a good opportunity for me to share this song Anma with you. Now, this is a song by a band called Beginner, and it features guest vocals by GZUZ and a cat named Gentleman.
Schreib Gedichte, schreib damit Geschichte. Jeder, der mich disste, ist bereits Geschichte. Alter, ich kam schon mit K2 und Hammerhahn, als ihr noch irgendwo im Sack von eurem Vater wart.
And Beginner used to be called Absolute Beginner. Now they're just called Beginner. And they start the track, and then GZUZ drops a verse, and then Gentleman does, and then they repeat that. Gentleman is somebody worth talking about for sure. He is a very well-respected German reggae artist. He sings in both German and English, and his Jamaican patois game is very tight.
Them can't get me out, no matter how them want shout. Don't want your name trampled all down. Them can't get me out. Still around, still I move the crowd. From Hamburg way down to South. Them can't get me out, no matter how them want shout. Don't want your name trampled all down. Them can't get me out. Still around, still I move the crowd. From Hamburg way.
So Gentleman was actually on Big Up Berlin twice. He did a song called Leave Us Alone, and then he also did a track that I'll play for you now called Widerstand with a German rapper named Curse. We'll talk about Curse another time. I like him a lot. He's got a cool voice and an ability to do a range of different tempos and styles within hip-hop. And this track is just relaxing. It's a great outdoors in the summer, having a good time kind of jam. It'll pick you up if you're down. Gentleman brings in the nice laid-back reggae vibe. Curse brings the chill hip-hop. It is kind of a protest anthem. I had a very nice German professor come in and screen all the lyrics on Big Up Berlin for me. Is a very distinguished man of a certain age, and he sort of tutted this particular song because he said, I don't like the part where they say, I support the man who stands on the railroad tracks, because it could mean suicide. But the context in the song is that they're talking about somebody like the guy who's standing in front of the tank, you know, someone who's prepared to put it on the line for what they believe in. But it is a wonderful, chill, uplifting song, and I hope that you enjoy it.
Wellblechhütten Mann, ich bin dagegen aufzugeben, bin dagegen zuzusehen, wenn Menschen leben untergehen. Stand up and fight again. We in Babylon now until we can go sleep at night again. The only way to live upright again is to lift up your voices now. Oh, what a lovely day. Stand up and fight again. We in Babylon now until we can go sleep at night again. The only way to live upright again is to lift up your voices now.
And that really brings us to a close, unfortunately. We've kind of run out of time here, and we've barely scratched the surface. We hardly talked about any of the newer acts in German hip-hop. We missed a lot of the big godfathers, founders of Deutsche Rap, including cats like Sammy Deluxe and Cito. There's just a lot left to talk about. But that will require another video, or more likely a series of videos. And I need to know that you are interested before I sit down and take the time to do that. So this is the part where I say what everybody says. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, have the name of the video tattooed on your forehead, send up smoke signals, dispatch a raven, whatever it is you do to let your friends know about something cool, point them in the way of this video, send some love back to us so that we know you've liked it and that you want to see more. And I could certainly talk on this subject at much greater length. I want to remind you again, I am not a fluent German speaker. I apologize to any artists or any Germans who are offended by my mispronunciations of any band names or song titles. And again, this is not meant to be a definitive academic overview or history. This is just my view as a DJ, as a music fan, someone in the music business, of some of the bands who have really caught my attention that I enjoy. So thank you for watching. And Deutsche Rap fans, if I didn't mention your favorite rapper or your favorite crew, keine Angst, Junge. I will get to them in a future video if enough people are interested in seeing another one. So until next time, thank you for watching. Please support the artists by buying their music. Please check them out, enjoy their videos. If you pick up a copy of my CD, Big Up Berlin, I would certainly appreciate that. And until the next video, as they say in Germany, tschüss. And from West Philadelphia, peace.